Hello, this is Andre from the Art Button here. Today I'm going to talk about making less important assets such as gems, gems with runes, or magical stones. I feel like AI is naturally suited to making kind of non-hero assets, but kind of assets that are like a drudgery, something like this less important. For example, in a game, in a card game, board game, or a computer game, you might have different things that you collect or use, and those could be gems or these rune stones, and they're absolute drudgery to make because they are not the hero piece. Here, I'll show you how to use AI to make such assets. I'm going to use image to image heavily here, but for this I want to create a template image first. I'm going to use a program called Figma, but you can use any other program, Photoshop, GIMP, or anything else. I'm going to start by making a 512 by 512 image. The reason why I choose this size is because the current AI that I'm using has been specifically trained on 512 by 5 images. Some other AIs actually have different default image sizes, but going with the default image, I feel produces the best results. I like using a gradient background here because I feel like gradient makes the AI imagination try to put clouds or other things into the background. Here I'm drawing a rock, which will just be basically a black outline. And then I'm going to draw a symbol on it. This is going to be my symbol for the runestone, and I think our template image is done. Let's put it into the art button. Alright, so we have our initial image in the art button. Here I'm using this prompt, magical rock with white glowing symbol. It's a runestone, it has an inscription. And then I'm using this word salad that I use for a lot of assets for this game. There's nothing specific about this part. I like to keep it consistent between all assets that I generate, and I like to change the stuff on top to fit what I am generating at the moment. Here I'm using the 1.5 model because I feel like it has the most art styles, and I'm using the Euler A sample. I'm going to set the strength kind of low because I want the AI to have the most amount of imagination, somewhere around 10%. Next, I'm going to generate 10 images to see all of the permutations that AI can come up with. As I can see here, generate a lot of cool things, but it's not exactly what we want. Maybe this is close. This is because I think as our strength is too low, I'll increase it to 20% and try again. There you go, this is something what I'm looking for. A symbol in the middle, a rock around it, some interesting background. Yeah, this is more of what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think this is exactly what I'm looking for, except this rock is kind of floating. I'll use this as prompt and I will erase the floating nature. With AI kind of tools, you have to do a lot of tweaking. So you can go back and forth, set the strength stronger, set the strength weaker, modify the image slightly. It is just process of how AI generation is done. I like this rock a lot, so I'll use it. What I'm trying to get to is an area that I call a generator. Basically, you have everything set up where every click of the art button produces something interesting and something that you can use. You want to get to this generator step and then basically generate a lot of permutations and then pick the best one. And here I'm at the generation step. Basically, every image that I have here generates something very interesting, something that I could use. I'm going to change nothing. I'm going to just run it a couple more times to get a bunch more variations. If I go to my gallery, you can see I've generated a lot of cool rune stones, and with a lot of cool runes on them, yeah, you can, if your project requires many different runes, you can keep generating different ones, or maybe you just need one, so you'll just pick the best one out of here and use it for your game or board game or card game or other project. This process isn't limited to generating runestones. We can generate all kinds of things. Next, I'm going to generate a gemstone with a rune inside. I'm going to follow pretty much the exact same process, but I'm just going to go quickly here. So for this template, I wanted to add a little glow inside, and I also wanted it to have these kind of facets that are reflecting light, but it's about the same process. It took me 3 minutes to make this. I'm using practically the same prompt. This remained unchanged as with many assets for this project. Here I am changing it to a magical gem with a yellow glowing symbol, ruby, rune, inscription. I'm getting a lot of round things, so I'm going to add round and sphere as a negative prompt. So I've gotten to the generator state where basically every click of the art button produces some neat stuff. I'm not going to change any of the parameters. I'm just going to generate a lot of these assets and pick the best ones. Here you can see I've generated a lot of gems with a rune inside it. Magical gems that could be used in a board game or a computer game or a card game. Yeah, this is not a hero asset, but again, games usually have a lot of these kind of secondary assets, which I think AI is really suited for making. The same way I made gems and runestones, you can also make magical pearls as well. It's exact same process. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and visit the art button.